Welcome, Falcons Nation. Now, normally we put shows on here about everybody. Tonight, it's about one thing. It's about the Atlanta Falcons and three grown men that love the Atlanta Falcons. I want to welcome in some special guests. Of course, you know Howie Chaney from Off the Record with Randall every Tuesday night. How are you tonight, Howie?
I'm doing good, Randall. How are you doing?
Good. And our very special guest, and let me tell you the reason we wanted to have him on here. He is the most enthusiastic Falcons fan I have ever met. All I can say is NFC Championship game, getting ready to
Oh
go to
man.
Super Bowl. We look around. This man is up on the tunnel dancing. Howie, am I lying?
Hey,
I think.
I'm going to try something. I think I got a little video here. I'm going to try to play and see if it'll show real quick.
All right. All right. But while you get that pulled up, let's welcome our brother from the Atlanta Falcons season ticket holders, Jamon O'Neal. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Rando? Howie? Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the invite. Glad to be on the show. It's been a while, man. It's been a very long time.
It has been, man. And you know, for a while, I was piggybacking off of Howie's tickets, and we got to see you all the time. There you go. Look at that right there.
Man, I really miss the Georgia Dome, though. I really do.
I do too, man. We had
Yeah,
just took control of that game, and that, I got to
yeah,
go to a Super Bowl one time, Jamon, but nothing's more special than that night in Atlanta, watching our team we love, knowing that they just won the NFC Championship game.
yeah. That was great. That was great. That was it's almost like we had waited for so long for this, and those of us that's been in the section together, developed really good relationships even outside of Sunday football. And it's almost like a camaraderie and a brotherhood and a sisterhood as well. That you have. So it was just more than a game at that point. It was just be able to just breathe a little bit. So that's when I had my good knees. Now I don't know if I can do that anymore though.
Man, I think you can. And you were dancing in front, if I remember correctly, Russell Wilson's wife was
Yeah,
right up there.
yeah.
That's kind of who you was dancing for.
Yeah, that was yeah. His brother was up there. I actually met his brother. He's a really nice guy. And Sierra, we were kind of just joking back and forth.
I
Just
thought she might give you a job, brother, after that.
oh man, listen, I probably would have took it, honestly. I probably would have took it.
Well, let's
But
get
good
into
to
this
see you guys though.
2021 team. To say the least, 2020 was disappointing to all of us. I think the right thing to do. Well, let me start there. What were y'all opinion of removing Dan Quinn? Howie, were you ready for Dan Quinn to go?
Yeah, there had to be a change, and you got to start at the top. I mean, when you're the head coach and the defensive coordinator and you fire yourself part of the way through the season, it's time for a change, man. It's time for a change. That right there proves that you can't take care of everything you need to take care of.
Jay, did you feel the same?
I did. I think, initially I was excited about Dan Quinn, but I think he was kind of a little bit in over his head. And I think the biggest thing for me, excluding the Super Bowl, obviously, but it was just the games that we lost and how we lost them by. Like games we know we should have won. Like I just looked at the schedule from 2020, and I was just like, there's no reason why we should have lost those games. Like none at all.
The Dallas game is one that sticks with me. It just
Oh
feels
yeah,
horrible. No way we should have lost that football game. All right, another
yeah,
big change from 20, and I do think this is another victim of the Dimitrov time period and the way they structured his contract. There was really no way for this football team to keep Julio Jones at this point. What do you, with Julio leaving, going to Tennessee now, what do you want to happen in the future with Julio's legacy in Atlanta? Is 5 years from now when he's done, do we bring him home and put him up in the ring of honor? Would you like to see? I mean, personally, I want to see the man win. I hope he wins in Tennessee. I'd love
yeah.
nothing better than see him across the field in the Falcons in the Super Bowl 2 years from now. Jay, I'll let you answer that one since you're wearing the Julio jersey.
Yeah, it was kind of ironic, right? Hey, there you go. See, there we go, Howie. See, great minds think alike. Um, Honestly, I mean, I was bitter for a little bit, but at the end of the day, like you said, I do agree that it is has something to do with the Dimitrov era and the way that he drafted and the way that he went out and spent money, especially on prospects that didn't live up to the hype. I wish Julio nothing but the best. I mean, I think that absolutely. I mean, he had the hugest impact, in my opinion. Next to Matt Ryan in that era, as far as taking us to that next level and being to get the respect that we've always been craving. So, yeah, I would definitely love to see him in the Ring of Honor. Absolutely, like without a doubt.
Is he a Hall of Famer today, Howie?
Yeah, I mean, look at his numbers. I was talking to a gentleman earlier today. If Julio could have stayed healthy his whole career, he would have probably already broke nearly all the receiving records because, I mean, at the point he's at right now to where everybody else was at the same point in their career, he's head and shoulders above them. And, this is a rough guesstimate. Y'all probably know more than I would, but I'd say he's probably missed close to 40 games in his career. That's another lot of that's a lot of yards, a lot of possible
Yeah.
touchdowns, receptions, and everything else. So yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Jay, if he does nothing in Tennessee, you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. What I mean, he's a Hall of Famer now. Even if he up there and retire right now, I just looked it up, and this man's got almost 13,000 yards. That's just completely unheard of. And we'll be honest, some of them catches and some of them those catches that he received weren't easy. Like a normal person couldn't catch those. I think that Julio, just for what he's done for us, to make it easier on Matt Ryan and to take the heat off the other weapons that we had, I think that if Julio retired today, absolutely he'd be a Hall of Famer. They're first ballot, no question at all.
Yeah, it was. It
And
was a
think
tough
about it,
blow.
the last 3 years he didn't have a running game to help support that either.
Right.
So he was doing that with double coverage.
Yep.
And they traded Sanu, who was his running partner for several years. And draft night was the start of this team. And let's start there. 21. We started the year. We have a good pick. We have a fourth pick. We're coming into draft night. A lot of talk about quarterback or tight end. I think that was the debate all the way down. Justin Fields or Trey Lance or Kyle Pitts. Once they made the pick of Kyle Pitts, that kind of maybe sealed Julio's fate a little bit. But what did you think? Were you excited about Pitts, and what do you think he brings to this team for 21? Jay, we'll start with you, bud.
I was actually at work when it happened. I was very ecstatic about it. I think that even before we drafted Pitts, that Julio was going to be on his way out the door. I think that was already set in stone. I did have an issue with people wanting to draft Justin Fields, but with us drafting Pitts, it lets me know Arthur Smith is in the win now column right now. It's not the for the later
Absolutely.
future, and if you look at it, and I tell people, well, Justin Fields, I said it sounds good, but there's been prospects that come to the NFL and don't do great. If you already know what you're working with, then why? If it's not broke, don't fix it. So there's not a Matt Ryan. There's nothing wrong with Matt Ryan. We hear that all the time. It's the offensive line if we can get one. It's the inconsistency we have. We either have a running game and not an offensive line, or offensive line and not a running game. But I think Kyle Pitts definitely automatically requires double coverage right off the line. And you can line him up, in a 3 wide receiver set and 1 tight end. But I still think man's got to think I forgot how big his wingspan was, but he's huge. He's huge. And
It's
I'm
the
glad he's just
largest.
here.
It's the
Yeah,
largest
yeah,
wingspan in the by a
for a
tight
tight
end in
end.
NFL
Yeah.
history.
Now I did not like Kyle Pitts going against him as a Bulldogs fan. So, but if you can't beat him, join him. So I'm glad he's here with us. Though. But I think he's going to have a big impact. But he's still, he's new to the game, and the NFL is obviously different from college, so he's still got to learn some things. I do expect some drops, some mistakes, but the only way you get better is if you learn it from your mistakes. So I was very excited about it. I think that was the best move that they could have made.
You hate him as a Georgia fan. You ought to try being a Tennessee graduate and watch Kyle Pitts. But I've been buying Kyle Pitts football cards left and right because I'm all in now.
Right.
Let's talk about I think Jay made a great point, and we now have a 3 wide receiver set, and I do think we're going to see times that we have Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, Kyle Pitts, and Hayden Hurst on the football field at the same time. And Kyle Pitts will be split out. To me, that is that's a tough double team right there. Jay
Yeah,
dropped out on us, but we'll let him back in here in just a second. He'll come back.
right. Okay, I don't know if Jay went to the open practice Saturday or not, which we went, and they did run a lot of 5 out spread wide open offense type deal, no running backs, and they had receivers and tight ends all over the field, and I was really impressed and liked the way that came about.
Let me bring Jay back in here. Folks, we
Sorry about
back, Jay.
My cable provider, man, I don't know. They love me and they hate me. I don't know what's going on. But I'm good now. I'm off the Wi-Fi. I'm on data. So sorry about that, guys. Where were we at?
You're all good.
You're good.
You got a question about a comment, Jay, that just came in from the internet. They wanted you to, and I asked Howie a little bit about it, so I'm going to go back with you the same question. They said that you talked about, Howie mentioned while you were off the open practice this week, if you'd seen it, you didn't know you had, but they wanted you to kind of address, what do you think Ridley's role will be? What do you think Gage's role will be? What do you think Pitts and Hurst? Do you see them on the field? How much together?
I know that we still have, and I'm drawing a blank right now with the other tight end that we have, Hayden. Yeah. I think that as far as the veteran leadership, I think really has to step up. I think he does. He does take that role and stepping up. I do see Calvin Ridley, even Russell Gage, and was it Zacchaeus? I believe his name is
Zacchaeus. Yeah.
Because of those guys know Matt Ryan's system and they've been in it. So I feel like iron sharpens iron, and I do believe I didn't get to see the open practice though. I've been working, but I did. I do believe that they all. I think Kyle Pitts. I think you do get a chance to see Pitts, Ridley, and Russell Gage on the field all at one time, and that's what I'm excited to see. Especially with Arthur Smith being an offensive mind and a quarterback coach. So I'm very, very, very ecstatic to see that. September can't get here fast enough, man. I'm telling you.
And we might see a situation where we have that, Howie, and you have 6'5", 235-pound Cordell Patterson playing running back, who's a career wide receiver that I've seen since going back to Tennessee. Cordell Patterson, I could probably run a better pattern than he does, but God, what speed and size he possesses as a running back threat in the passing game. What do you think of that, Howie?
Well, that open practice Saturday, that was the formation that I was talking about. They had Cordell, they had Ridley, they had Pitts, they had Hayden Hurst, and they had Russell Gage. Nobody in the backfield. Matt Ryan's at shotgun. You're talking about, something being excited to see this coming September. I'm like Jay. We finally got a coach that's an offensive-minded coach, and this is the first time we've had one in several years.
I think we would all agree the wide receivers are exciting. I think we would call the Gurley. I rooted for Todd Gurley last year. I really wanted to see Todd Gurley recapture Todd Gurley, but at 26 years old, his career is definitely on the downside. We signed Mike Davis to a nice contract. Jay, we saw Mike Davis on the other side of the field last year.
Yeah,
he was very effective for the Panthers at times.
Yeah. I believe Mike. I think Mike Davis, especially on the short yardage, the 3rd and 1s, the 3rd and 2s, the 3rd and 3s, he's able to get that push because he's a really big guy.
Yes.
I don't think that he gets the credit that he deserves. I mean, he's playing behind Christian McCaffrey, so there's not much you really can do behind that. So I know last year he had I think it was 165 attempts, 642 rushing yards. Of course, that's not a lot, but when you're coming off the bench behind a star, a Pro Bowl caliber running back as McCaffrey, I mean, now you kind of let the dog off the leash now and see what he can do, and I'm excited about it. I actually saw a picture of him, and I was just kind of blown away because the guy looks really good, though. He looks really good, in shape, ready to rock and roll. He reminds me of a more modern day of Steven Davis, but a little bit more smaller and compact size. But I'm excited for him. I think that, and actually, in addition to that, I've noticed I actually went and watched some games before we came on. His run blocking his pass blocking is pretty good.
Yeah,
his pass blocking is pretty good.
He's very physical back.
Yeah,
even no matter. Does he have Howie? Does he have a little feel? I agree that Stephen Davis is a good comparison, but maybe a little bit Michael Turner too. That
I was
huge
sitting,
size.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
sitting here
I mean,
thinking the
his
same
size
thing.
here.
Another burner Turner out there, and I was talking about the numbers that he put up last year, but you got to realize he had no quarterback. There's no passing game in Carolina, so he's having to, he's going against 8, 9 men boxes. So, imagine if he had a quarterback and a little open space. Guess what? Atlanta's got a quarterback. They got wide receivers at weapons.
Right.
So, he's not going to see 9 men boxes. He's going to see maybe 7, 8. So that one man out of the box, that's going to open up a lot of free space for him to take off running.
Well, I think we'd all agree he's the clear number one, we would think, coming out of camp. That 2, who's going to back him up? I think in the pass game is Patterson, but are they a battle between Cadre Ellison and the rookie Hawkins to find that second back? And you need a second back. Running back, you're going to get hurt. What do you think of the group together, guys? Jay, I mean, to me, it seems like you've got a nice front guy,
Right.
in Davis, but you're looking for something. You're looking to find that second guy other than Patterson for the passing game.
I just, it all depends. It really honestly boils down to, in my opinion, how this O-line is going to work out, because I know they're still battling up there. And it depends on what kind of schemes Arthur wants to run as well. Because Mike Davis, he's a good screen guy. Quadre, he's a good screen guy. But again, I think for me, I would be uncomfortable giving a solid confirmation on either one until I can actually see who is on that offensive line and who's actually, protecting Max blind side, and also who's at center as well is big for me too.
Jay, you got a career in radio, man. I'm telling you. You're exactly right. You led us to the next subject of this. And Howie, 2020, for a lot of reasons, was a rough year as a Falcons fan. But it started up front. It really did. I felt like even before Todd Gurley, I felt like early in the year he had some spring in his legs. He had no real run room. Matt ran for his life a lot of times. I don't feel like we really got to develop and saw what that offense could have looked like last year. We let center walk, leaves away. Got 2 first-round draft picks from last year. Spend a second and third, I think, this year. Who do we think, guys, that are going to win these battles, Howie? Well, give us your take on where the battles are and who's going to settle there.
It's really hard to tell right now, because you look at the depth chart that they've got out right now, some of the starters from last year is on the second string, which I know it's early and everything. Some of them's coming off of injuries and all that stuff. But, you got to feel like that the offensive line is going to improve this year just by having Mike Davis and a running game, because, in the past, you knew that it's going to be centered to Matt Ryan. He's going to be throwing the ball somewhere because there's no running game. So you got to feel like with a running game being there, that's got to hit the offensive line some.
So is there anybody secure on the offensive line other than maybe Jake Matthews? It seems like every position's up for a battle.
Oh no, I think everything's up for a battle right now. I want to see what Jalen Mayfield is going to do out of Michigan. And even with I think that even when we have Lindstrom and McGarry, I don't believe there's nobody on there that is really safe except for Jake. I just don't, and I don't know what Arthur Smith is looking for. That's one of them things where I want to see exactly when we get the depth chart and we know for sure the starting lineup. But I feel as though if it's kind of like the same scheme he's been running in Tennessee, then he's going to have a line that's going to be able to get off the blocks and get downfield and block on those screens and things like that. So, I think that's probably the biggest battle out there right now on the field, with the season starting less than 4.5, 5 weeks right now.
Well, that's a great point. And you know, it's hard to, and I've tried to do this. Living here in Chattanooga, I get to see the Titans every week.
Right.
If I'm not at the Falcons game, the two games I get every single week are the Titans and the Falcons. And I hate the Titans. The only team I hate worse in the NFL, I'm sorry, Tennessee folks, the only team I hate worse than the Titans are the Saints. And being a Falcon fan, if you don't hate the Saints, they take your jersey away from you. So the one thing, the secret is Derrick Henry's a great back, Howie, no doubt. Freak of nature. Don't know if we've seen anything like him. But Taylor Lewan, that offensive line in Tennessee is nasty. If he can get some nasty in this offensive line, a big step in the right direction.
Oh, absolutely. Derrick Henry's a man. He's a beast. He can run over everybody. He can outrun everybody. But you put me behind that offensive line, I think I can get 2 or 3 yards, to be honest. I mean, the Tennessee Titans offensive line, they're bulldozers. They just run over people. And who knows? Atlanta Falcons offensive line may be the same way. We just don't know because we never really committed to the run. It'd be, a couple runs early on, then all of a sudden let's just, start throwing the ball 40 times, 45 times a game and see what happens there. So who knows what the offensive line can really do.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was saying, or just chipping off of Howie, or we'd run the ball when we didn't need to run the ball. So you're right. You're definitely right about that. It's like the car that you hope's going to start in the yard when you go out there, but if it does, it's not going to go too far.
Before we get off the offensive line, I want to get to play calling too, because I do think that we had a problem with play calling last year. At times it got so predictable. I think I could sit in the stadium and call the plays, But one guy that you brought up earlier, and I know he was a third rounder, but when they drafted, and I went back and watched Jalen Mayfield at Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Dude can ball, man.
Yeah.
And he got put down in the draft because of his arm length. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest wingspan. I sometimes think they get too far into that stuff in the NFL. If a guy can ball out, he can ball out. I'm really excited, and I think he will eventually win a spot. Did you see any of Mayfield at Michigan? Jay?
I did. I actually watched a couple of highlights on him, even after the draft night, just to catch up and see. But I definitely do agree with you, Randall. Like I don't really see why my offensive line needs to have a huge wingspan. They're not out there catching balls or anything. Like, as long as they can hold the man in front of them and get off the block and protect the quarterback, that's really all that matters to me. But and he has a little bit of edge to him too. That's what I like about
nasty.
him. In Michigan you have to be, So in that you got to have that mentality of, to protect your quarterback at all times, because we've been blessed that Matt has not been hurt at all with the what he's been through in the last, even the Dan Quinn era. I really say that. Even with Mike Smith, we've just been blessed for years now. Yeah.
Howie, you being an Alabama guy, and the last question, we'll get to the offense. Did you like the signing of A.J. McCarron to come in and back Matt Ryan up?
Yeah, I wish they'd got him several years ago, but it didn't work out that way. But they got him now, a solid backup that's been in 2 or 3 different systems. But he can swing the ball. He's not a game manager. He can go out and do what he needs to do. And last year, if Matt Ryan had went down, I'd said, well, the season was over with anyway. But I would have really said season was over with if Matt Ryan went down. But with A.J. McCarron, I think he can step in and win games.
All right, guys, last question on offense. There's one. I'm not getting out of here. Give me one guy, Howie. We'll start with Jay. Give me one guy next year when we do our 2022 preview that we'll be talking about. We're not talking about tonight. Somebody on the offense that we all get excited about.
I mean, Kyle Pitts is obviously the obvious pick, but I would say, honestly, I got my faith in Mike Davis. I have to be honest with you. I really do, because I think that with the style of offense that Arthur Smith came from, what he's looking for in a running back, I think he's got that in Mike Davis, and the guy came to practice looking like, he had just won the strongest man competition of the world. But,
Dude, he's a freak.
So, yeah, I'm excited about Mike Davis. So
that picture of him at practice, and they had a shot of his thigh pads.
Yeah.
And it looked like two little bitty ham hocks or tenderloins up on his thighs, man. They were huge. Howie, and I've got one. Howie, give me the guy that you think we're talking about in 22 that we're not talking about tonight.
The one we may be talking about in 22 may not even be with the Falcons after this year because he's only got a 1-year deal, but it's Tage Sharp. He put on a show at the open practice Saturday. He is catching everything. They could not guard him at all. So I think he could be a big X factor for the Falcons this year.
Well, guys, I'm gonna throw one, and I've watched this guy mature, and I just feel like they probably don't make the Julio trade unless they feel good about Russell Gage. I would not be shocked to see Russell Gage have 75, 80 catches, maybe break that 1,000-yard mark. I really think he's a guy that's matured in the system. And you said it a minute ago, Jay. Are you going to double team Kyle Pitts? Or are you going to double team Calvin Ridley? Russell Gage is going to have some room to run free at some point. So,
I'm going
to go with Russell Gage will be my guy. So let's move to the all right. Before we get in this defense, I got to give everybody a note. And Annalie, if you're going to make a drink, make it now. She's trying to get ice, and every time she gets a cube, everybody in the whole U.S. hears her. So this next Friday or Thursday, we're going to have a special from Davis, Kessler, and Davis, 3-hour football preview show. This is mostly going to be about college, but from Davis, Kessler, and Davis. So join us. I might get one of you guys to call in too, talk a little Falcons here if we get a chance. But before we get to the defense, I just want to plug that. I also want to plug every Tuesday, 7 o'clock, Howie and I, off the record. One week we might talk football. Next week we might talk music. Next week we might talk, who knows? We talk everything. But to the defense. Was the defense as bad as I conceive it was last year? We'll start, Howie. I'll get you out the first shot at how bad the defense was, or what was your perception of the 2020 defense?
Well, the defense wasn't very good, but I don't know if it wasn't because of the scheme that they was trying to play.
Okay.
I'm hoping I really hope it's the scheme because if you look at the front seven there, we're all same. We're the same as from last year. We didn't really make no changes up front. So I'm hoping it was just the scheme that was going on. Because if it wasn't, and it was the players, we're going to be in trouble again this year.
Howie, before we get off the point, I want you to make your point that you've made to me during the offseason. There was a defensive coordinator calling first and second down in a different how did that work?
Well, it didn't work because we sucked. I mean,
well, I
know it was. we had one guy that was calling like plays on first and second down on the defense, and then when third down rolls around, they had somebody else calling the third down plays. That to me, that's the same as having two quarterbacks playing in the same game. You don't have a quarterback. You got two guys calling the defensive plays. You don't have a defensive coordinator.
Jay, and we already discussed, you have to stay PG-13 when we talk about defense, and it's hard, as bad as that defense was last year. Well, 2020 defense, what was your impressions of it?
Yeah, I actually had started working out for a little bit and running around some cones. I was going to try out, but apparently it was too late. I just, like, Howie said, I just didn't really understand calling plays on first and second down and then switching it over to someone else to call plays on third and fourth down. But it really showed the lack of coaching. I think the lack of discipline that they had, because we racked up, I think it was 700 and penalty wise, 83 penalties, 86 penalties. I'm sorry. But it was just not effective for me. Like, I mean, I don't think if we got any worse, we'd probably be probably dropped down to like, I don't know, high school level or something like that, because it was atrocious. It was, and you know, my biggest thing, I don't mean to get off subject, but I really need to see Dante Fowler do something, because I like man, he got a nice contract and he's been hurt, but even when he's in, he's no X factor at all.
That was our free agent signing that we expected something out of. Let me ask a question, and I'm going to go back to the Super Bowl run, and I've talked to Howie about this. This defense never seemed the same since the day they let Brian Cox walk. Was Brian Cox the heart and soul of that coaching staff? Because it seems like he's the guy that really, really was the guy that pull you to defense, get in your ear, get in your face. I don't know that we had that ever replaced Brian Cox, Jay. It didn't seem like they had fire.
I don't that whole era, I remember it from Hard Knocks, and I was like, man, you know, Brian Cox, he gets these guys motivated, he's in their face. And the biggest thing for me was he held them accountable, you know, and once people are held accountable for what they did, their mistakes, then they can correct them. But when you're not being held accountable for them, you're not. And I get it, you know, Dan Quinn was a defensive guy, but if we look at the defense that he had in Seattle, like, I mean, that was a golden ticket right there, you know?
It was.
So, and I'm not taking anything away from Dan Quinn. I like Dan Quinn as a coach sometimes. But I just don't feel like, I don't know. I really do not know.
You know, sometimes, Howie, I got the feeling that Dan Quinn didn't have a process like other coaches did. Now, this is a guy that got us within 16 minutes of a Super Bowl, but the knock has been Brian Cox has gone from that staff. Shanahan's gone from that staff. After that happened, I really never seen us grow. Let's start with the one player that seems to be playing every snap, always there, always doesn't need somebody to motivate him. Is Grady Jarrett. Is Grady Jarrett, let's start there. Is he the one guy that we build the defensive line on?
Yeah, he's the one player. He needs to step up and be a team leader and hold people accountable. You know, that Super Bowl run, you know, Brian Cox did a great job, like he's talking about. But I feel like what made that defense even better, he didn't play a whole lot, but was Witherspoon. Witherspoon came back. He was on the team. He gave the team a little bit of swag and a little bit of nastiness on the defense. And, you know, that's something that, you know, Jay can vouch for this. We don't have no nasty players on the defense, man. You know, we got some solid players. We don't have the nastiness that you need. We don't have, you know, like Dan Quinn had up in Seattle. We don't have the Earl Thomas. We don't have the Richard Sherman. We don't have the vocal leaders that you need for a great defensive team. You look through history, every defensive team has had vocal leaders that holds people responsible. You don't see that with the Falcons.
No.
Jay, are they talent on that defensive line and it just wasn't coached up?
I think it was a little bit of both. Definitely, I'm always going to hold Dan Quinn accountable because there's a lot of costly mistakes that should have been made that's cost us games, cost us big plays, put us in from short yardage situation to back to, you know, a 3rd and 10, a 3rd and 15. But again, like Howie said, you got to have that. If you got to have that, you know, that person or that personnel, 1 or 2 or 3 people on the team to where they know they do not want to come across that middle, because if they do, they're going to pay for it, you know. And we don't have that in a defense since Brian Cox. I don't know anybody really that I can say that was holding people accountable on the team. Grady Jarrett's a great guy. He's a great player, but at the same time, I think as a player to be considered great, in my opinion, you have to make others around you great. You know, and held them accountable and hold yourself accountable and teach and coach and train them as well. I hopefully see that Grady can grow on that as well. But again, a defensive line, I mean, they're young. And I really want to see, what's his name? Kaminsky. I'm excited about him. For some reason, he's my hidden gem right there. Kaminsky's my hidden gem because he's got that fire to where if we had to play 8 downs, he'd play 8 downs. But I'm very excited to see John Kaminsky out there. Hopefully he's starting as well and keeps his spot.
Yeah, I think that's another camp battle to see who comes out of that. There's a lot of bodies there, but it's, and you never can have enough defensive line bodies. You made a great point, too. The Falcons spent a lot of high draft picks on defensive linemen during the Dan Quinn era. Vic Beasley, the other guy I robbed out of my mind was the guy from UCLA.
Tack McKinley.
Tack. But our depth, this is the depth chart that was released, and it's kind of still open and weak, but they have Grady, of course, Tyler Davison, Jonathan Bullard, Kaminsky, all as starters. That Kaminsky's listed as a co-starter. Chris Slayton, Marlon Davis, Taquan Graham, I think who we took from Texas this year, John Atkinson, Zach Dow. I really think those first six guys, Grady Jarrett, Tyler Davison, Jonathan Bullard, Kaminsky, Slayton, Marlon Davison, and even throw Graham in, that just seems like a pretty good core if you get them pointed in the right direction with some coaching. Howie, Jay said it was Kaminsky. You stole mine, Jay. I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, Randall.
I think he's the guy that can step up. Howie, who's your guy?
Hey, we're 3 for 3. I like the way he played last year when they let him play. He's got a motor on him. He's kind of like a Bosa. Got that edge rush and a motor that's 100 miles an hour. I think he could make a big difference if they let him play. On the defense that we had last year, to me, it seemed like they wouldn't let players stay in there long enough to get a rhythm of the game to see how it's coming, because they're swapping defensive players in left and right, every other play. I mean, I'm sorry, but back in the day, did you see Michael Strahan coming out on third down after one play? Did you see, would you see, you name a player, would they come out after one play and take a break and then go back in there? You got to let the defense kind of get a little rhythm going on, and that's something they didn't allow them to do.
You got me fired up. I threw my notes over to the side and dropped my phone. That is my one criticism of Dan Quinn. It doesn't seem like we ever had a logical flow. I went to a lot of Colts games back in the days. Peyton was in Indianapolis. Dwight Freeney did not come off the field. Not on first down, not on second down, not on third down. Now, did they give him a blow? Yeah, they'd give him a blow for a whole series. And when he was out, still come third down, you could look out, Dwight Freeney was there. If you see those guys like Aaron Donald, they're playing 40, 50 snaps a game. I don't feel like we ever, especially Kaminsky, that one frustrated me last year. The one game I counted, he had 4 tackles and played 14 snaps. And I'm like, why is this guy not playing more? That's a great point, guys.
Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones and Aluakun were the only 3 that played the majority of the game. The other 9 players were running in and out, 8 players running in and out, because those are the 3 that they felt like they counted on. And, but just no rhythm to the game, man. I'm sorry. That just irks me.
All right, man. I hate to move on, but let's go on to linebackers. Listed as starter is Mariner, Deion Jones, and I can never say this guy's name right. Fosade. Can you say that, Howie?
Oh, don't ask me.
Aluakun.
Yeah.
And, of course, we've got Ellerby, Walker, and Copeland listed as the second team. Linebacker play last year felt like we just played whoever was healthy enough to play at times. I really have hopes I'll get him out this time for Jay can. I really have hopes that Mikael Walker can step up and be a contributor to that group. But last year it just felt like just get 3 healthy bodies out there for most of the part. What was your impression of the linebacker play, Jay?
Again, I don't think that. I mean, it's almost like we're all repeating the same thing, because I have to agree with you. It was kind of mediocre to me, and it was like, hey, can you play today? All right, go ahead, go out there and just be a body for me on the field. It wasn't like the linebacker play that we saw, 2-3 years ago, maybe. I don't know, maybe it was because of COVID. They didn't think nobody was watching, but it was very, very hard to see. And I think that's when I really completely went bald because I was all my hair. I just stressed. I just pulled it all out. I just couldn't take it anymore. It was damaging to see because I don't like wasted talent. And I feel like, again, I have to go back to Dan Quinn because, what do you guys, I feel like he was more of a friend and a confidant than a coach,
Yeah.
and you have to have that fine line of, okay, yes, I can look after you and be a confidant, but at the same time, I'm still your coach and we're going to do it my way. That's the only way we're going to do it. So I think a lot of guys kind of got comfortable in the locker room and you just kind of watch them as this, they was kind of nonchalant or I don't want to say that they didn't care, but they didn't have that fiery passion that we're normally used to seeing playing with.
That this foot franchise, well, it's not the most successful franchise. I mean, I'm a diehard Falcon. I've been a fan. I've been going since '76. Back when they used to play in the infield, will still be there in the old Fulton County Stadium. But even going back to, Lehman Bennett and, Jerry Glanville, the defense, well, maybe not the most talented. They always blitzed. They did some different looks. At times, I felt like Howie Dan Quinn's system would get very vanilla, and it was like, we're going to let you complete the pass on 3rd and 10, and then we're going to come up and make the tackle. But if we miss the tackle, you're going for 40 yards down the sideline. I hated Dan Quinn's scheme. I mean, I hate to get off on defense. I promised myself I wouldn't. But I felt like that offensive team, even last year, as bad as the offensive line was good enough to be a 500 football team.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. If you look at the games that we lost, how close the Dallas game, I can still see that like it just happened. Like the Dallas game, the Detroit game, the Seattle game. It was unbelievable to watch. And I didn't understand it because there was no consistency in what he did, on offense and or defense. And, I would rather lose a game getting blown out, and I already know what it is, than to sit on the edge of my seat and watch an NFL team look at a live ball just spinning and nobody jump on it. I just don't get that.
You're
Absolutely.
taught that. You're taught that in Pop Warner Pee Wee League ball. If the ball's sitting there, go get it. Go get the
Even at
ball. It
home,
don't matter if it goes 10 yards.
even backyard football, you're taught that. Like, it's a hot potato. You got to go get it. I thought it was. I don't know what I was watching. I had no idea what I was watching. Like, it was bad. It just went from downhill from there. And I think that even listening to him in the press conferences, in my opinion, I kind of heard the confidence kind of just leaving him in a way of to where not necessarily losing the locker room, but he didn't get the full potential from the players that he could have. But I just think Dan Quinn was in over his head. He had a good team coming in that looked great. But then again, like you said, once Cox was gone, once Shanahan was gone, things just completely changed. We hit that plateau, which was great, but we didn't even just stay at that plateau. I feel like we just kind of sank beneath that, honestly, and we just got comfortable and stayed there.
Howie, I'm going to let you have the last word on linebackers, and then I've got a question from the internet for both of you. You got anything to follow up, Howie?
The one thing that surprised me on the depth chart is they got Dante Fowler listed as an outside linebacker. I hope that's just a decoy. So he needs to be rushing that passer, man. He needs to be rushing the passer. You put him out there in open space, I'm afraid it's going to be another Vic Beasley out there just spinning his wheels and running around in circles like a little puppy chasing its tail, man.
Oh my gosh, goodness gracious!
Talk to me, Jay. Talk to me, Jay.
I don't know, man. How Randall brought up the Saints earlier, and that just put a sour taste in my mouth. And you brought up Vic Beasley, and now I'm just like, that's a lot of pain right there, man. That's a lot of pain. I see. Devontae Freeman went to the Saints, huh?
Yeah. That
Yeah,
caught me
that's
a
his
little.
favorite team. That's his favorite team. He said he always wanted to play for him.
Well, let him go on. I hope we'll see him twice next year.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go to the secondary where I don't even know where to start, except we spent our first round pick on A.J. Terrell last year, and at times he played well, and at times he didn't play well. Is A.J. Terrell someone at corner we can build this football team from? Either both of you. Start with you, Howie.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna let Howie go
Go
first.
ahead, Jay. No, go ahead, Jay. I think I'm
Um,
fixing to say the same thing. I believe we can build a defensive secondary around AJ.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. He's had some major. He's had two. I think it was two interceptions last year that were pretty big game changers. Again, he's still young. I'm gonna watch him how he plays. Sometimes he's turning his back away from the ball instead of turning in. But I do definitely think that we can definitely build a defense around secondary, at least around AJ Terrell. I think he's got really good potential in the way that he plays. He's very passionate the way he plays, and that's what I look for. And I like that because passion to me means heart. So if you have that on the field and you're giving that all, there's nothing else I can ask from you.
Is the other corner open between Isaiah Oliver and Fabian at this point? Because I really think Isaiah Oliver might help this team more at safety than he does corner.
If anything, I think if anything, he needs to be a nickel or a safety
Yeah,
one. Isaiah Oliver,
Or come up and eat hot dogs with me.
no, he can't hang with you with hot dogs. But
No.
Fabian should be. I think he's got the. He's going to be the starting corner. Oliver is going to be a nickel or a safety one.
I do like
yeah,
the safety position. I think we found something with Eric Harris last year at times. Duran is back. We have the rookie and Jalen Hawkins. Richie Grant, sorry, is the rookie we picked from Central Florida. I do like the safety position. I think there's some bodies there, and I do think Richie Grant has a future.
yeah.
Just talking about, he's that headhunter guy. I really liked his film at Central Florida. Jay, did you see much of him?
I didn't get to see a lot of film on Richie Grant. But from what I've seen, I watched a couple games. But again, he's got that ball hawking mentality, that headhunter. That if you come across here, I'm going to make you pay for it mentality.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a couple of friends that went to some practices, and it's not unless you wouldn't even know that he's a rookie. The way that he goes about everything there, the way that he's learning, the way that he's showing things to some people, and the way that he carries himself and the way that he plays, he get on the field and miss a beat. So I'm very excited about Richie Grant. Very, very excited about him.
Well, and we want to get to the schedule. So quickly, special teams. Young Ho, he's the kicker. At times, he looked great last year. Y'all have any comment on the punting job? Who you think's going to win it?
I don't have a clue. I mean, it's up for
Yeah.
grabs.
Long as Young Ho, long as he keeps his cleats out of his Jeep,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I think he'll be good. As far as the punting, I don't know. I really don't. The special teams, I don't even remember the last time we had a decent special teams. Maybe when what's his name? I can't remember his name. The guy that we had for 2 years from Chicago.
Greatest
Devin Hester.
returner of all time.
Yeah,
Devin Hester.
Yeah.
Well, and I was about to make up the point. Cordell Patterson has made a living in this league returning kicks. So that's by far what his calling card is. All right, got 10 minutes, guys. We're going to run through the schedule real fast. But I want to start. I intentionally waited to now to ask a question. And we'll start here. Was 2020 in an empty stadium a downfall of this football team? Because I thought Atlanta always has a nice home field advantage after we get people in the seats. I missed the dome for that reason, Jay.
Yeah.
I think more people in their seats were louder.
What
was 2020 football like for you, Howie?
It was rough. I mean, the fans, I think it's 6,000 people per game, 7,000 people per game. I went to all the games. I enjoyed it myself, but it wasn't the same. But the Benz is such a nice stadium that people don't go to their seats to watch the game. They're roaming around looking at all the stuff that's in there. I'm like y'all too. I miss the dome. I miss being able to go in there and get to your seat and, cheering for your team and being loud in there. And then every once in a while, around look and seeing your boy up on the thing if they're dancing in front of everybody.
I really do miss the dome. I think it was a better home field advantage. Jay, did you opt out last year, or did you go to any games?
I didn't. I actually with COVID everything, I took a break and ended up went towards a new career path, which has been very good. But I didn't miss a game though, even at work. Fortunately enough, we have a lot of TVs at my job, so
Yeah.
um,
We're going to
I,
plug that here in a second.
yeah, so I had to make sure that but it was I think that it was more of a wake up call, I think. But I do feel as though not having the fans in the stands, especially the way that the season had started, kind of depleted them a lot. But again, like nothing will ever change the Georgia Dome. It was a lot smaller though, but it just felt like it was so tight and so packed, and it was so loud. Like ears would ring for days after a game from being in the Georgia Dome. Um, so I definitely miss that. But I do think that we have a very good home team. I mean, a home crowd. Even though we don't get the credit for it because they call us fair fans, which I don't really know what that means. But if my team is messing up when I know they could win, I'm going to be upset. But I think it had a big impact. COVID did. I think on a lot of teams too as well.
I agree, and I do think Falcons fans are different than most NFL fans. Atlanta, for some reason, it seems like if you're a Falcons fan, you're a core, you're a lifer, you're there.
Right.
There's not 2 billion of us floating around the country like Green Bay Packer fans, but if you're red and black, you're red and black. All right, guys. Last question. We'll kind of get through the schedule. Let's bump the schedule. And if anybody wants to comment, we won't go through and pick every game, but let's do it. Let's pick every game. You got y'all. Get everybody just kind of do this real fast.
I got 4 games I'm looking forward to for sure. Definitely.
All right, Eagles. We open with the Eagles. What does everybody think? I like that game. I think.
Yeah, I think we've played the Eagles a couple times season opener. Unfortunately, it's not a primetime game, but we'll get there. But I think we'll win that game. I think we take that game.
Howie?
Same here. It's a W.
At Tampa Bay. I don't see us winning at Tampa Bay, but that's just always hope. Howie?
No. Brady and them be home. It's going to be hard to beat Brady because he's got not only does he have home field advantage, but he's got referees in his pocket too. I say that out loud. You know how it is.
I was waiting on it. Jay, you feel the same?
Yeah, I don't think that we'll win that game. I think the defense is still going to be figuring themselves out. I think Brady's going to have a nice day with us. Whether he has the guys in the black and white stripes on his side or not. So, but no, I don't think we get that.
I think the next game is a key game for us at the New York Giants, and I think we can win that football game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the Giants have got their whole offense back, they're depleted last year. I said that we could beat them earlier, but thinking about the offensive power they got, our defense is still kind of young, new system. I think it could be a close game, but I think the good guys come out on top.
All right, Jay, what do you think on that one?
I think that'll be a challenging game for us. That'll be like the first big road game. And again, for me, it's going to really be about that defensive line, especially with Saquon being back. So that's going to be a big challenge for us that I'm excited to look for. But I feel like we should pull that one out. I think we should pull that one out.
The next game is a game that I think a lot of people don't realize how good the Washington football team could be. So Washington football team, I think, is going to be a handful. They are one of I won't say they're the Super Bowl favorites by any means, but in that bad division, I think I'm picking the Redskins to win it. So I think it'll be a tough assignment to take the Redskins. How about you, Howie?
I said earlier in one of our earlier shows, if Washington had a quarterback, they'd be dangerous if they had any type of offense because their defense is, they're just downright nasty. If Atlanta had their defense, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Jay, feel the same?
Yeah, I think that I feel like this game is going to excite, like I said, with the Giants game, testing our defensive line. I think that the Washington game will definitely test our offensive line. Definitely test the offensive line. And we can see, the puzzle, the pieces that are put in place. and to see who gels with what. But that's gonna because I think they're gonna bring a lot of blitzes. I think they're gonna do a lot of delayed blitzes, so we might be able to see a lot of screen and bubble plays and seeing some chip blocks. So, but that's definitely gonna test our offensive line for sure.
And
And
before
then
we move off of Washington, who is it? What team is it that Washington's got most of their players from on defense? Oh yeah, Alabama. That's right. I forgot.
Oh, here we
Go Tide.
go.
I got a mute button. Then the New York Giants in LA or in London. I really think Zach Wilson's going to struggle. I really think he is. So I like our chances going to London and winning that football game.
That's
Howie,
a W.
Jamon.
Yeah, I we ain't losing no Jets. I mean, we're not. This is not happening. Like no, I'm not. No, but I think he'll struggle, especially being in London with a game like that. Absolutely, yeah.
Then we get our bye week early, and I think that's
Yep.
big for the offensive and defensive lines. And we come back at the Miami Dolphins, and I also think of an improved football team.
Yeah.
But I think, God, that's one of those. I really think at the end of the day, I feel like the Falcons are a borderline playoff team. And I think that's one of those games. I can't say we're going to go beat Miami at Miami, but I feel like that's one of the games we got to get to the 9-10 wins to get in the playoffs. Howie, how about you?
Yeah, I agree with what you say, but for some reason, with it being home field Miami, I have to say Miami would probably win that one.
I'm not falling for it. We're going to win. So, Jay,
I'm gonna agree with you on that one, Rand. I'm gonna agree. Coming out the bye week, I think that you can reset and prepare for Tua and the other receiver they drafted. So I think we'll take that one though.
the next two games we'll just go through together because they're both in division. Let's just talk about the division, home and away, and then we'll. So we play to start. We get Carolina at home. Then later in the year, we play at Carolina. Can we sweep Carolina? I think, yeah. But I'm actually, I want to see Carolina play. How much quarterback? I mean, where's Sam Darnold at? That's the $1 million question.
Mm.
So I think we sweep Carolina. But how about you, Howie?
It's a sweep. Sweep all the way.
Yeah.
All right, then that team from that crap hole down in Louisiana. That place I will never go. We're at those people that play the horrible music and call it some kind of jazz at the Saints. I just can't pick it because I don't know that we win, but we're at the Saints. What's your opinion of the game?
I think we'll sweep them too because they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
Jameis what's your guys' opinion of Jameis?
Oh, I'm not losing to a quarterback that steals crab legs, first of all. So that's just not not at the start. That's just not happening. No. But like Howie said, they don't have a quarterback, and I don't think Taysom. He's not a. I don't want to say he's a real quarterback, but he's not a stand in the pocket type of quarterback. So I think they're still trying to figure themselves out. I think they'll actually have an okay year. But I'm looking forward to giving Devontae a little bit of sweet revenge, though.
All right, Jay, is this one of your games at the Cowboys?
Absolutely, without a doubt, because I have a lot of friends that are Cowboy fans. So that is a big game. You know that is a we owe you one game right there. And Dan Quinn's a defensive coordinator. Come on, it's no better than that. Like it was so cliche. It's perfect. That's my number one big game right there.
All right, Howie.
And you got the Atlanta secondary playing. We're playing against Atlanta secondary in Dallas now.
Yeah.
We got lit up last year, so let's light them up.
Well, I agree with y'all. Next game, though, I think I'm excited about this game. Thursday night, New England Patriots coming to town. Coming to town. The Patriots going to have it figured out what they want to be by that point. Is it Cam Newton? Is it Mac Jones? I tend to think it's probably Cam Newton. But, boy, I'd like to lay one on the Patriots. Is this one of your four?
Oh, absolutely. One, I just love to lay one for the Patriots, and two, love to see an Alabama quarterback go down. I just can't. I love it. Though I haven't seen it much, like it'd be great though. It'd be a win-win for me. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a very exciting game, which I think that's midpoint or a little bit past midpoint to the season. So that'll be almost like a telltale to see exactly where our faces are and who we are as a team, as a whole unit.
You get 3 of them. I just looked. Hurts, Tua, maybe Mac Jones.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, Howie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Roll Tide, but he's not Roll Tide no more. He's Patriot, so he's done. Go Falcons.
All right. One game I will ask you about. Can we beat I think we've got to, if we play well and the season's going well, the Bucks in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I like that situation, and I looked at the Bucks schedule. We kind of get them in a good spot. Is that the big upset that could be out there floating around for us?
Yeah, definitely.
Jay, any chance?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that is that'll be it's kind of like a sleeper game. I think even though it's towards the end of the year, but our division's always been tight. That game can decide a lot for a lot of teams, especially in our division. And it's the day before my birthday, so that would be amazing.
That's got to be one of the games then.
Yeah.
Then the Panthers we've talked about. Then here they come. We're at the San Francisco 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. Number 4, isn't it not?
Yep. Yes. I actually plan on going out there for that game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
big
that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal. Yeah, I haven't been out there, but I definitely want to go out there and check it out and come back with a W, though.
I'm not a big I lived in California for 3 years, not a bit, or 2.5 years. I'm not a big California guy, but I love the San Francisco Bay Area. I mean, it's really cool, man. If you've never been, take an extra day, just go visit it, man. There's some cool stuff to see out there.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's really nice out there. I might miss my flight. So, but I'm excited about that game too. I don't know what the Jimmy G situation is out there with the quarterback they just drafted,
Trey Lance.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I say that we do go out there. I'm very optimistic about the schedule and the season as well. But I think we take a W there.
Then we got 2 games. Got 2 games after that. One you feel like you got to win.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one you're playing probably the AFC. I'll say Kansas City's the AFC contender for the Super Bowl.
Right.
But the Bills are second in everybody's book. So you've got to beat the Lions even if you lose to the Bills. You got to beat the Lions.
You got to, you have to, especially at home. Because I don't even think the Lions know if they're coming or going right now. So especially at home, that should be a good game to where, hopefully by fourth quarter, we should be able to pull Matt and some starters and give some other people some time. But I think we definitely should be able to that should be an easy breezy game. But then again, we are who we are. So
and January the 9th.
Say again?
January the 9th, the city of Atlanta is invaded by
swamp people.
Saints.
Can I say swamp people? I can say swamp people, right?
Yeah, we're going to beat the Saints on the 9th, no matter what.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, in my head, we're a 10-7, 9-8 football team. And with the 3 playoff teams, I think we've got a shot on the backside of that playoff. I think Tampa wins the division, but we definitely a manageable 4th place schedule really helps us. Do you not agree, Jake?
No, I definitely do agree. Like it helped us a lot. Even other teams as well, because there's always that one extra game you wish you would have had, or that game you would have won if this would have happened. So this kind of gives you a little bit more of a leg up. And I know it's for everybody, but I think in my opinion, especially for us. But there is one more game I forgot to mention though. We've definitely got to give it to Sunshine and Urban Meyer down there in Jacksonville.
I skipped it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I can't. I need that W more than anything right there. That was the most important one on my list right now. Is that Jaguars game.
I skipped Jacksonville
because I just hold a lot of grudges when it comes to football. I know Urban Meyer's been out of Florida forever, but I still could remember him consistently beating my butt as a Georgia fan. So, but yeah, that's the game. That's another game I'm excited about.
Guys, this has been a great show. Now we'll do it again. Maybe we ought to do this about mid-season.
Yeah, let me know. Thursdays are really good days for me. I'm normally off most Thursdays, and we'll be off majority Sundays coming up.
Plug your new career.
I'll definitely give that a thought. I definitely appreciate it, Randall. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, I know you changed jobs and you got something going. You want to plug something?
Oh yeah, so I'm still in the restaurant industry. I was downtown Atlanta bartending for a while. And what's crazy is I actually applied for this job. It's in Sandy Springs, Roswell Road. It's a Korean barbecue restaurant called Thrill. And I actually designed her drink menu for that one. It's about upstairs and downstairs, about 12,000 square feet. That was back in August. We opened September, and then November she gave me my own restaurant. So I have me a nice Korean barbecue spot restaurant. I'm in McDonough now. So it's pretty big. It's business has been very well, been blessed. Even with going through the pandemic and everything, but I can't complain. I'm running that one now, so I'm the head honcho over there.
And Korean barbecue, if folks ain't tried it, it's for real, for real.
Yeah,
So,
it is. Yeah, it's
all right.
K-pop
Jay.
McDonough. So everybody's there. Make sure you come see us. K-pop McDonough.
Yeah, Jay,
All
if
right.
two fat guys from come walking in there, it looks like us, you want to hook us up some good food, bud?
Hey, Howie, you guys are always welcome no matter where I'm at. You know it. I got you absolutely.
I'm going to put last question of the show. I appreciate both you guys. Jay, you've done great, man. Here's you. I'm telling you, I knew you would be a natural for this, and you're more than natural.
Thank you. Thank you, Brando. I appreciate it.
I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put you bad on the spot.
Go ahead with it.
Georgia Clemson to open the football season. Let me hear you break down.
Woof. All right. That's a good one right there. You caught me right there. You caught me with a hand in the cookie jar right there. But honestly, if I'm gonna be fair, where's the game at though? Where's it at?
I think it's at Clemson. Let me look.
Yeah, I really think that I'm hoping that Georgia pulls this one off. Their offense has been looking really good. I know we're still missing the I think it was a tight end that we had, the one that got hurt last year or the year before.
Big kid.
Yeah. But the draft class has been pretty good. But again, for me, it's all about the product you put on the field, and that lets me know the work that you've been doing on the offseason. But I think if we can go in and steal that game, because it would be a steal, that would be precedent big for the rest of the season.
All right,
because
man.
Clemson's missing a lot of starters too now.
You know I'm a Tennessee graduate, and I'm going to say something nice about Georgia, so everybody listen up. Georgia is going to go as far as JT Daniels takes them.
Yeah.
And I think the kid's the real deal. So
yeah.
I think Georgia wins the East. And if they somehow get out of Clemson, with a win, you might see something. You're going to see that Georgia-Alabama SEC championship game again, I think, this year. So,
well, when that happens, I will definitely send you guys an invite. We just bought an 82-inch TV, so I just put it up today. So you guys are more than welcome.
The only time I can root for Georgia in my life is when they play Alabama, and I will do it in a heartbeat then. All right, guys. Listen, everybody, this is where you can find us after we're off here. iLogic Media, Draft for the Upside, iTunes, River City Media, Spotify, River City Media, YouTube, River City Media. Always available on your Facebook, River City Media. This is going to be a semi-regular thing we do. We'll try to hook Jamon in some, but it's been a lot of fun. Guys, always let y'all have the final word to the guests. So, final word to Mr. O'Neal. What's your final thoughts of the 2020 football season, 2021 coming up?
Optimistic, man. I'm honestly, I live my life a glass half full, so I try to always find a good in everything. I'm excited about the coach. I know he has a passion for it. With his dad being the founder of FedEx, I don't think he's in it for the money. So, and with him taking Ryan Tannehill and making him almost a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, that says a lot to me. So yep. I'm excited about it. Like, again, I think the offense has always been there. My biggest thing is the defense, and I just need consistency across the board. So that's what I'm looking for. But I think we'll be good. I think we make the playoffs, and you never know. You never know. Sky's the limit, or so they say.
Howie, I think we make the playoffs too. I put it this way. we will be in the playoff race in January.
Yeah.
There'll be a path for us to get to the playoffs. Howie, final thoughts, man. Jay, thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely.
By the way,
Thank you guys so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Howie, your final thoughts of the night.
And my final thoughts are I'm looking forward to the football season beginning, getting back to the Bends and seeing my Falcons family like Jay and, the Comptons and Miss Bobby, et cetera. So, just getting back to some normality, I guess you could call it, And, I feel like we're going to be in the playoffs or at least get a playoff run. And it's going to be a lot more exciting than it was last year. So.
Absolutely. And Howie and I will be together Saturday at Sylvania's Wing Fest to support Coach Tyler Van. So anybody that's listening, for our new friend and new partner on this Falcons preview, Jamon, Jim, man, I appreciate it. Howie, I appreciate it. We'll catch y'all down the road. Go Falcons.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Rise up.
Rise up.
Rise up.